says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you lusting is the one you're loving?
And 160,000 Hollywood actors are poised to go on strike after talks with major studios and the streaming services have failed. Now, what is not part of this story is that it seems as though the major studios are colluding. I should use my words more carefully. Let me see. Are they colluding? I'm not sure if they're colluding, but they seem to be in league, allegedly. That's how we do that. They seem to allegedly be in league with one another to break the unions. Now, as it relates to actors, most of us are not. Most of us are not writers. So I suspect that most of us don't care, but most of us watch TV and go to the movies. And if you enjoy quality productions, you should kind of care that y'all's actors and actresses, and I guess the actors is both genders and all genders, and all of the writers as well that really, really make great shows great. I think you should care. But I think this is also a nod to where we are in the world right now. And as I look at it, I think we should kind of suss out the power dynamics of this strike, right? So 160,000 actors are SAG-AFTRA, which is headed up right now. I think Fran Drescher is the president of the SAG-AFTRA union. I think Shirley Ralph might be the vice president. So these are some of the people that you know and like, right? They are going out on strike in solidarity, but they're also going out on strike because they see what's happening with all of this AI and everything. And they're going to be joining the more than 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America, which have been on strike since May. Now, something was leaked this week, and I don't know if it was leaked. I'm not sure if it's true, so I'm going to say allegedly. The CEOs of the major studios have basically said that this is a quote. One industry veteran said they overheard, or they know because they were in the rooms. There are people in these rooms, okay? And maybe they look like secretaries. I don't know. But they said, I think we're in for a long strike because they're going to let it bleed out because they have the power. Most of these studios are like Prince, where they have a vault of material and content. They have things that they have killed that they can now resurrect. They have endless amounts of content that they can stream from now probably until next year, but they are planning on holding out until October because they feel by October, most of the writers will be broke. And then they'll come back to the table with a different set of demands because they want to eat and pay their rent and mortgages and feed their families and not have to work at Trader Joe's. But I think they might be effing around to find out. I'm not sure, but it is why I preach Beyond Thrive Thursday that you should be in a position to not be at anybody's mercy, right? Listening to Roderick Morrow on Friday talk about losing his job at Game Theory, while he really enjoyed it, he has his own business and he's going to be okay because he also doesn't spend the money as quickly as it comes in. The Hollywood money is good money. The Hollywood money for writers, that's some good money. And if you believe that you'll never be without a job, I can imagine people feeling like, listen, we all do it. Water seeps its own level. They say, I have absolutely been in this situation where I had a contract job that I said to myself, oh, I'm going to treat this like it's gravy or cherry on the top, not like something that I need. But then I bought a house in Florida and I used that money to pay the mortgage. And then when I lost the job, guess what? It was harder to pay that mortgage. I was struggling. And it's because I didn't treat that check as if it was temporary. Because all your checks are temporary. Ask the folk at Enron who had those great jobs. Things happen. People working at Microsoft and then they're not. At Google and then they're not. Apple, you think Apple's not laying off. Yeah, everybody, SiriusXM, laying off folk, firing folk because industries, they contract, they expand. It doesn't stay good all the time. My grandmother, my father's mother used to say, every bird fly high must come down. the stock market. It's going to go up and it's going to come down. And when it comes down and it crashes, because it always will, people then look around and the first thing they do is not cut their salaries. They're going to cut your salaries because they're in charge. So those CEOs are still collecting their checks. It's the other people that will not. And now that they are fighting over rights and things, and I just know this from like the publishing industry, right? Before there were audiobooks and ebooks, writers just had books. And the publishing houses never sold up all rights in perpetuity. So what happened was when the ebooks and the audiobooks came, they had to come back to the table. Now, a few folk got slick in the publishing realm and were able to collect those rights. But really smart writers were like, I'm going to keep my audio and digital rights because I can, and you can't take them from me, and I can do whatever I want with the same book that I just put out. Ooh wee, it got interesting. This is a power play. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and I suspect most of you don't care, but I do think there's a lesson in it, because we're living in a world that depends on the masses to be ignorant and also to be distracted, so that the 1%, and it's actually 1% of 1%, continues to play marionette with the rest of us, right? So we are all puppets in the matrix. We're all plugged into the matrix while a few people are at the chessboard moving us around and making these plays and funding politicians and funding other governments and doing all of this stuff, China versus Russia versus this versus that. And the only versus is us versus them. And if the French Revolution was any indication, it looks like France might be having another one. It's always going to be about the masses versus the power. And as soon as we get out of this left, right, black, white, all of this, as soon as we get out of that, it's about to be on and popping. I just wanted to be on and popping so that we can get to having a real society. This is some bull crap. So Twitter, speaking of bull crap, Twitter owes ex-employees $500 million in severance. Lawsuit was filed. I feel like Elon Musk is never going to pay that money because he is a despicable piece of a thing who has no morality and no values and is a egomaniacal narcissist. And I feel like he took over a company he didn't understand. He has driven it into the abyss. The reason why, so many folk are having problems on Twitter has nothing to do with the blue check. That bandwidth thing. He ain't paying bills. He laid off people that he needed for the behind the scenes tech because he didn't understand how the company, what it actually needed before he came in and cleaned house. He's not paying any of the bills, and he's probably not going to pay this $500 million. Which is really sad because I imagine these folk were making good money, summarily got fired in the middle of their lives. A lot of them have high mortgages and high rents and not expecting them to not ever be working. And you would think, well, tech, they can get other jobs, but all of the tech companies are laying folk off. So where do you work? And it's hard to start your own business when you're in distress. Trust. So this is crazy, right? But Elon Musk can still get on a jet plane to the moon. He still can get on his yacht with his stand-up frog-looking self and just be out there in them streets making more babies, and he's living his happy life while $500 million of owed money. He sounds just like Trump. Trump was good for that too, not paying people. Just petty and small and horrible, not paying people and living it up, right? Because you have the money. But you're just going to beat them in court. And that's how people do, right? They depend on you not having the wherewithal to fight them. So, because legal fees are expensive. Y'all lawyers out there, this is, I have some very strong feelings about lawyers and bad ones, or the ones that just take people's money, which is a lot of lawyers, right? And I'm, especially the quote unquote entertainment lawyers. I don't even understand what y'all do. But anyway, and if you are right now a hit dog, don't call up hollering, please don't. But there's better uses of your great brain. I just feel like there are better uses. But, and I think that's part of the problem in this country. It's a very litigious country too. You sue, I spilled coffee on myself. I'm suing McDonald's and you might win. It's their fault because the coffee was hot. This is the country that we're in right now. It's crazy. But you weren't careful. The damn coffee's hot. It's coffee.
smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you're lusting is